Hi, my name is Bella Ricks, and I will be discussing art and psychedelics and how both can be used to induce non ordinary states of consciousness to transcend this ordinary state of consciousness, which is defined by Cartesian rules and Newtonian physics, the unbridled growth and belief in both. Um, has led to the desoulment of the natural world and therefore its pilfering and the current ecological devastation we are currently in. To enter a more sustainable, interconnected, compassionate paradigm, I believe it is necessary as a species that we have a mass shift in consciousness. On the personal level, this paper is about two methods in which that shift in consciousness can be generated through the viewing and creation of art and through the ritualistic and magical preparation and ingestion of hallucinogenic plant compounds. The two examples I use, one from the Western world, is Stanislav Grof's research into LSD 25 from his book Psychology of the Future, and indigenous peoples of the Amazon's healing work with ayahuasca, accounts of which I gleaned primarily through the book Plant Spirit Shamanism by Doctors Howard Charing and Ross Heaven. I also use Pablo Amaringo's art after his ingestion of ayahuasca and his sacred visions because it shows the shift in worldview that occurs after such ingestion. His art carries themes of transcendence of duality, realistic identification with the mindset, behaviors, instincts, and emotions of animals and plants, and understanding one's divine placement in the divine plan of the cosmos and natural world. Cynthia Hollis, in her paper on developing art and ecological curriculum, states that through art, individuals come to realize the power they hold in reimagining the future. And that is why I chose to discuss art and hallucinogenic plant compounds, because both change the ways in which we think and feel about relating to our natural environment. And in order to escape the Anthropocene, which, if we continue business as usual, will lead to the next mass extinction, in order to escape that paradigm, we need to, in the words of Sean Kelly, re-enchant ourselves into understanding the ensoulment of the natural world around us. I refer to the earth as Gaia in order to imbue her with a sense of ensoulment. I also use Lynn Margulis's biological understanding that simple bacteria are the foundational forms of complex life, which shows that even on an unseen biological level, most of life is generated there. Margaret Fall, in her paper, Noticing Microbial Worlds, discusses microchimerism, which is when the mother and fetus's cells end up in each other's bodies' genetic makeup through the womb, which shows that there's no real individual. We are made up of cells of our biological human families, and we possess more bacteria cells than human cells. And bacteria helps us with our development, with our healthy functioning, and with the ways in which we sense, process, and think about our world. Therefore, it is important to acknowledge and respect what we cannot see, because what we can see is only defined by the instruments through which we look at them with. I believe using our innate neural chemistry, which is sympathetic to hallucinogenic plant compounds through tryptamines, serotonin, and dopamine, we can take advantage of what the natural world is already gifting to us. So, Stanislav Grof's research in the Western world used LSD-25, which is a synthetic compound created in a laboratory based on ergot, which is a mold that grows on rye. He used LSD-25 to treat multiple psychiatric disorders, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, substance use and abuse, and what he termed spiritual emergencies, which would be the emergence of phenomena non-explainable by the logical, rational rules of modern mechanistic science and capitalism. Modern psychiatric research did not in the 70s, and to a large degree today, recognize the difference between spiritual states and psychotic states. They do not know how to define spiritual states underneath the paradigm in which we live. Therefore, they reject it. And by rejecting that, they reject the soul's ability to evolve, to let itself be known through means outside of the five senses, and which further disconnects the human being from the natural world, because in that holotropic, non-ordinary state of consciousness as defined by Stanislav Grof, that is where we experience archetypal energies, discarnate beings, and even the voice of Gaia herself. This is known to the indigenous Amazonian healers who use ayahuasca, which is a compound between the ayahuasca vine and the anchicruna leaves, to restore balance to the human mind, body, and spirit. They recognize disease, sickness, negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative modes of being, destruction, greed, lust, as being born from the disconnect of the ailing human from the natural world. So the healer acts as a mediator between the plant world and the human spirit to restore balance. He is gifted because he knows how to respectfully approach nature and ask for her help. You must always pay for what you are taking from the earth. And here I would like to go on a small vision quest, a small meditation, just to open our awareness further to the subtle energies of Gaia as she moves around us, through the light, through the wind, through the leaves, through the animals around us, through the dirt beneath our feet. So, if you would, inhale, sit up straight and inhale to the count of 4 slowly, breathing into the bottom of your lungs, down into your diaphragm, gently expanding and feeling the life force coming into your field. As your diaphragm fills, pause and hold for the count of 4. And as you do so, express thanks and gratitude to Gaia for the breath of life. And as you breathe out slowly, matching your inhaling pace, give thanks again for the shelter, the food, and all possibilities of life which exist because of this natural world around us. And breathe in one more time. Do the 4-count cycle, the pause, the inhale, the release. And as you do so this time, imagine thick green vines coming down out of the bottom of your feet and going down into the center of the earth. Down, 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 until it reaches the center. And wrap that thick green vine around the hot, molten center of the earth. You are now anchored and embedded. And as you feel that sturdiness, turn your awareness outward again. Express thanks yet again. And then reemerge. Gaia just wants to be acknowledged and respected before she gives us her bounty. And in this modern worldview of destruction and taking and taking and taking without giving, Gaia does not show her true face. This is seen in Richard Tarnas's Parable of the Two Suitors, in which he asks us to imagine that we are being approached by two suitors. The first one approaches us with maladaptive intent to use, to destroy, to disrespect, and to devalue. And the other approaches with genuine love, honesty, openness, and respect. Now, who would you be more willing to offer your secrets to and to offer your gifts to? Would it be the first suitor or the second suitor? There's a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche that I would like to read from his book, Will to Power, about art. He says, "An artist cannot endure reality. He turns away from it. His earnest opinion is that the worth of a thing consists in that nebulous residue of it which one derives from color, form, sound, and thought. He believes that the more subtle, attenuated, and volatile a thing or a man becomes, the more valuable he becomes, the less real, the greater the worth." I interpret this as the more an artist or the more a person turns away from the outside physical world run by Newtonian physics and Cartesian logic, the more he attenuates himself to a numinous spiritual dimension, and the more he is able to see and hear and feel as an artist feels. He is in touch with the beautiful, creative, life-giving energy which hides inside all of matter and inside of all of us, but which we cannot see solely in ordinary reality. We need to take a glimpse and a step and a leap into non-ordinary states in order to more consistently and persistently evaluate and rethink the ways in which we relate to our earth. So, in conclusion, I believe to transcend this age we are in, the Anthropocene, and to move into an age of sustainability, we need a mass consciousness shift as a species, which starts with the individual. Two methods in which I believe possible to generate this shift in consciousness are through the viewing and creation of art, such as the ayahuasca visions of Pablo Amaringo's artwork, and through the sacred ritualistic preparation and ingestion of hallucinogenic compounds, which carry the spirit of Gaia in their own unique, intelligent form, accessed through methods of genuine reciprocity, genuine intent, and genuine understanding of our role in the cosmic plan. Modern Western research does not differentiate between spiritual states and psychotic states, but a meta-analysis conducted by Natalie Dyer, in which she looks at 43 different studies of psychedelic work between the 1990s and now, shows very promising results in the use of psilocybin, MDMA, and ketamine in the treatment and therapeutic use of psychiatric disorders such as substance use and abuse, PTSD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and Oregon just legalized the use of psilocybin. So the Western world is at last coming around to the knowledge which indigenous people have known for centuries. It is my hope that the plants themselves guide us out of the Anthropocene and into the age of sustainability. That's my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day.